Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 58 of many. I have been away from the office as of recent. I was out in Florida and out in Nashville, so I was gone for like 9 days. So I haven't talked to you recently, although we've released some podcast episodes. We pre-recorded a bunch of them so you guys could, so we could still hit our Tuesday and Thursday targets of episodes. So today is Monday, the 15th. We've got Kyle G here again. Kyle's on a couple earlier episodes. If you guys haven't listened to Kyle's original episode, I think that the first one that Kyle and I were on, I have no idea what episode number that was, but that was a very good episode, kind of about the history and kind of how Kyle has been with us for the last 7-8 years, and it was a really good episode just to kind of understand the history of us. So a little background real quick, if this is your first episode, we've got a company by the name of Grizzly Fitness, which is 6 gym locations. We've got Priority Fitness, which Kyle leads that entire side of the company. That is gym installs, gym equipment, moving, extraction, sales, servicing, kind of like that stuff. And then we also have some real estate as well that our gyms occupy. So if you haven't tuned in before, go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4. You'll hear a little bit more about the story. And then also go and listen to the episode that Kyle and I released. Very good, informational, cool episode. So today you've got Kyle and I. We're just going to kind of have a conversation. We'll be on here for probably 25, 30 minutes, just talking about life and maybe some past business ventures, and I don't know, just kind of see where it goes. So, Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
I haven't talked to you in a while, so I guess tell me what's going on. Tell me how your weekend was last week. I wasn't here. I mean, just anything you've got going on.
Yeah. Last week was, it was fine. It was a little bit slower for Priority. We're kind of in a weird spot right now with that. We got a couple slow weeks, which will be nice to get kind of caught up on some back end stuff. But just had one install last week, which went good for what it was. Construction site, place wasn't ready still. So, and then besides that, we Eve and I, and then all the cousins were up in Minocqua for the weekend with Mitchell and Taylor. So we had a cousins weekend up there where we went out to dinner Friday night at a supper club, and then just kind of bummed around Saturday. Went to the brewery up there and the distillery, and had some pizzas in to end the night. Watch some college football and stuff. So good to see everybody. We don't see them all that often. So
Fair enough. What the Seahawks? For those of you listening, Kyle's a Seahawks fan. I'm a Broncos fan. How did the Seahawks?
Yeah, Seahawks won.
They did win?
Oh yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they won 31-17.
Oh damn! Who'd they play?
Steelers.
Go, yeah, that's right. I'm a Broncos fan. The game did not end up the way I wanted it to, but we shouldn't have been in that position. So, and most of you listening are probably Packers fans. Good for you guys. You're 2-0. I'm happy for you. Why is there a fly on the mic? So, okay, so the Seahawks won, so that was a good finish to your weekend. The Broncos lost, which pissed me off a little bit, but it is what it is. So you're talking about Priority. Let's talk about the equipment industry as a whole. You're pretty involved in the equipment servicing, sales, installs, moving. What are you seeing right now? I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, I know we're slower, but I don't know. What's your inside take on the equipment industry, the installs? What's happening?
I mean, as far as what I've seen more recently, I guess it's gotten to like a weird point. I think it's kind of the economy stuff is catching up. Not a lot of gyms are really upgrading stuff like they were in the last couple of years. Their gyms upgrading all the time. I think a lot of them are holding back, and maybe they're gonna do a bunch of upgrades at the end of the year or some little upgrades here or there or whatever, but we're not seeing like the big gym swap outs that we were the last few years. But we did do a ton of high schools and middle schools and stuff this summer. So a lot of schools had referendums that passed and stuff like that in Wisconsin, where they got new fitness centers, or they got money to put toward the athletic programs or what have you. So that was good, but now with school starting back up, all those projects are done for the most part. But other than that, I mean, I don't know.
So let's talk more about like the used equipment sides of things because you're involved in that. And for those of you listening, we do gym installs, which means we inherit used equipment or we buy used equipment. So talk a little bit about like our warehouse status and also talk about what you're seeing on like marketplace and equipment that's moving versus not moving, essentially, right?
Sure. So our warehouse has always been pretty full-ish of used equipment for the most part. We keep a lot of stuff in stock. Some of the older stuff's hard to move, so we hold on to it for a little while and then eventually just scrap it or whatever we do with it. But lately we've gotten a decent amount of like strength circuits out, some more used cardio stuff and stuff like that too. But in Wisconsin, there's always a lull in the summertime with used equipment sales. Cardio doesn't really sell as much just because everyone's outside enjoying the nice weather, and then once it starts to cool down again, like it will soon, we'll start selling some pieces here or there or whatever. But I mean, in the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, there hasn't been much at all. Like nothing's really. There's not really anything moving, and circuits are always harder because you got to move. We always want to move the circuit as a whole, but and we had some. You have the people who want to ship it overseas and stuff, and those seem like the only real buyers of the stuff right now. You don't have as many people looking to open gyms or buy stuff for their home gym setup or whatever. So yeah, the used equipment stuff's kind of hit a weird spot too. So our warehouse is kind of flip flopped, and now it's 20%, 25% new equipment that's ready to be installed or it's going to go get installed, and it's 75-80% used equipment that just needs to get moved. And it all has value. Like we see the value in it, but it's hard because a lot of other people don't. They see that actual value in it.
Yeah, and I feel like, you and I will sit down once in a while, just game plan wise, try to figure out like what do we do with the used product. I feel bad scrapping this stuff. Like I want to see it go to a good home. I don't like that it just goes to like a landfill essentially, or whatever, like kind of gets scrapped out. We've got like an abundance of like ellipticals, right? That we're talking about. Maybe we're just going to throw a lot. I mean, I feel like ellipticals aren't really moving at all. Like one here, one there. I mean, ironically enough, we're talking about scrapping ellipticals, and Austin just sold one like literally yesterday. I don't know if he told you, but he sold a Matrix elliptical Nike Plus console, right? Like he sold it for $1,200. So like it was a good day. Like, nothing we're going to complain about, but I mean, it's like the older some of this stuff gets, the technology gets dated, which then is a problem sometimes, depending on what you've got. And like software updates aren't as easily available. It's like owning the older iPhone, eventually it just like the app store and the apps don't work on it like they're supposed to. And so it sucks, but I think we're to a point where like we don't really have much of a choice but to like just do a refresh on the warehouse. Like any of those treadmills that are 10, 15 years old, I mean, maybe even more like, I don't know, the 956s now at this point are probably more like 15, 18 years old. I don't know. I feel like they've always been 10 or 15 years old since we fucking started 8 years ago. So I think we're just to a weird point. Like we're going to have to scrap a bunch of stuff. If anybody's listening and wants really cheap cardio equipment, I mean, we've got some stuff, but I feel like the space is more valuable to our business now at this point than the finding the right buyer for that one thing, like.
Yeah. Well, it's hard too because it's like the Precor ellipticals. We're gonna scrap a bunch of Precor ellipticals, and like there's so many people who they want Precor elliptical. Like that's the one they want. They don't like the suspension ones like Matrix or the Arc Trainers or even like the Life Fitness suspended ellipticals. Like they don't like those. They like that like rail driven Precor elliptical motion. But now they don't move anymore at all. I mean, even the new ones don't sell.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel like even in the gym side of things, like we see a lot of use on the treadmills, and I feel like very rare. I mean, like you don't walk into the gym and the ellipticals are busy. I feel like a lot of gyms that we've worked with on priority side over the last 3, 4, 5 years, like they're getting rid of, take the Planet Fitnesses, for example, they're getting rid of a row of ellipticals and they're going more treadmills, or they're bringing in more strength equipment. Cause I just feel like that's also where the market's gone. The market's shifted to more functional training and strength training, and even like bodybuilding, or just like I just think lifting is muscle is more important now than like endurance or, whatever. So I feel like just from what we've been seeing too, ellipticals are like not on the out, like they're never going to be extinct, but I just feel like gyms are now needing less of them on the floor and more treadmills. And I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, our most recent like refresh at the Nick and UW Madison was they got rid of like 20 or 25 ellipticals and they replaced them all with more of the Performance Plus treads and climb mills. They didn't replace a single elliptical they took out. So like they're down to like 10 ellipticals in the Nick or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of interesting. I mean,
it's like the younger generation thing. Like they don't want that elliptical.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it's not like we've been in the industry for now 7-8 years, so it's not like we've been around, we haven't been around forever like some of these guys who've been in the industry for 20-30 years where they've been able to see it. So I feel like it's like the first real, like, I don't know, kind of shift or something, I don't know. This is the first thing that I feel like we've identified that we're like, oh, ellipticals are kind of on the way out. Like strength equipment, we started in strength equipment, and strength equipment's still important and hot. It's just like, again, we used to like to sell one-off strength equipment, the one chest press, the one this. Now I feel like we're not necessarily lazy, but we like to sell, like you said, the full circuit. Those onesies and twosies are kind of hard to sell. You got to find the right guy at the right garage gym. And yeah, so interesting. So gym equipment, I talked a little bit on a prior episode, like, and I made a comment to you, like the rare gym equipment is hot. Like, I think it's overinflated almost. Like, I mean, some of the stuff that we've got sitting in storage. We paid $2,000 for it 5-6 years ago, and it's worth $10,000 right now, which is just like insane. And then the question is, should we sell it and just cash out, or like we bought it at a good price and we should just keep it, so when we want to use it, we want to use it,
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take?
Well, it's like every industry is going that way. Everyone's like finding their niche, or they've found their niche, and like they've all blown up now. Like I collected sports cars when I was a kid, and there was a little market for it, and now it's huge. Like now it's huge, and then you still have you have that like thing that's blown up. Gym equipment's blown up. Just like jerseys are super expensive now. Signed authentic jerseys are like you see Tom Brady's jerseys and Tom Brady's rookie cards and all these things. They're all setting records at the auctions now for like the most expensive card ever sold. Tiger Woods putter, the most expensive putter ever auctioned off. Like everything is just like crazy now.
And I bet some of that, like again, it's kind of comes probably back to like inflation a little bit too, like of all the money that was printed how many years ago, and like now there's just more money out in circulation. I don't know. Like I feel like the niches, those little pockets that we're talking about, are blowing up because of like social media in a sense. Because now, like, if you're on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and you start really watching sports card videos or watch videos, like that one guy that likes to trade up watches and stuff like that too is really cool. But then like you just start seeing, I don't know, I just feel like you start seeing it more, and it just, I'm not saying just because the algorithm's showing you sports cards that sports cards are getting bigger, but I feel like it's easier to really dive into like your niche, and it's all over like Facebook and Instagram. I don't know. I just feel like social media, during COVID, golf kind of, I felt like blew up, and now golf is like a much more common thing. Like a lot of people like our age, like everybody that didn't golf around us is now golfing because during COVID you had nothing to do. And so I think the same thing with fitness and lifting, all of that stuff during COVID, they had nothing to do. All these home gyms popped up. People were creating content at home, or they were going to the gym or whatever. And now I feel like it's the same thing for like every little pocket. I mean, like I get gym equipment stuff on my reels and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's not that interesting, but to me it is. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the other reason with like the equipment stuff just blowing up as far as like the rarity of stuff, it's just like nobody valued it back in the day. Like you were saying, like fitness blew up in the last 5 years. Like when we got into it, it still wasn't even relatively super popular yet.
Yeah.
And now in like the last 5-6 years, it's just absolutely blown up, and everybody, like some of the biggest influencers on social media are just fitness influencers. So I think that's the reason like all this stuff has just gone crazy, because like back in the day nobody cared, so you traded in your equipment for nothing and it got scrapped or whatever, which is why we find issues with scrapping it, because it's like we see the value in it, and now there's less of those units out there to come find. and that's why you pay a premium for them now, I guess.
What do you business talk? What do you think we should do with our stuff? Like, would you sell right now because the price is so high? Would you keep so we can open more gyms later and have really cool rare stuff? Because I go back and forth. Like, one of my thoughts is if you did sell it, you just buy it again later, and you know what I mean. But it's hard to find some of this really cool rare stuff. So I guess, what do you think from your shoes?
I don't know. I mean, most of the stuff that's like super rare that we have, it's hard. It's hard to say sell, but at the same time, there's some of it that we've never used, and we've tried it, and we like, oh yeah, we like that. We'll put it there eventually, or we'll use it for our next gym or whatever. And like, who knows if we're actually going to do that? If we like the other one if we like this lat pull down versus that lat pull down way better, we're just going to go try to find another one of those.
Right.
So it's hard. Like, sometimes I say sell, but at the same time, price is probably only going to go up.
Yeah, right.
So if we want to sell it now and then go buy it later, we're going to have to pay more for it later than we're selling it for right now.
Right. Yeah, I know. I go back and forth. I don't know how certain I am in the prices staying high, going higher, coming lower. I feel like it's almost like the stock market, like of gym equipment. You know, it's like, yeah, I agree. The equipment's only going to get more rare, right? It's not like they're able to make the original flex chest press, and people are paying. There's a bunch of knockoff brands out there now where like they're basically making the same thing and it's brand new for $3,500 or $3,000. Where the specific piece we're talking about is worth $8,000 to $10,000 right now. But I think you still pay for it to say flex fitness on it.
It's
versus
the authenticity.
Yeah,
of it,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the original. It's like if we made a brand new 1969 Mustang today and it was a 2025, you know what I mean? Like it still wouldn't be the 1969, right? So
yeah,
it'd be faster though.
That's what like Dad and Bruce have to do. Like they have to find the original parts for units and then restore the original parts, because the aftermarket parts actually take value away from the car. So that's it's all the authenticity of it all, making it actually a real original thing.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. I mean, don't sell.
I don't know. I know. I go back and forth. I'm like, well, what could we do with the cash right now if we had it, as far as like other investments within the business, you know, get a new trailer, get a new truck, whatever, right? Like, how could we use that money to make more money now? And then in the end, it's like, well, now we can buy it back. But I've always liked to just sit on the stuff, because it's like, well, I don't want to find it again. I don't want to have to pay way too much for it. But I feel like when we first started, it was like the treasure. It was like, oh, dude, we found another cool piece. We got to get it, or we got to get it shipped in or whatever. I feel like that's gone away a little bit in a sense, just because like we've now had so much of the treasure, and it's like, just, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was year one, but yeah, I don't know. I still have the mindset. I don't want to go find it again necessarily. Like, I don't want to have to hunt like we did before. You know?
And that's the other hard thing too, is like, yeah, you see the big price tag on it and you're like, oh yeah, like we should sell it. We could get money for it. Get good money for it now, but it's like, there's like, you probably know better than I do, but I feel like at this point there's like a 60-40% chance. There's like a 60% chance that thing's going overseas. And we're not going to even have the chance to buy it again. So
yeah, I totally agree. That's the one thing that like kind of rubs me wrong, is like the American in me, made in USA, like I want to keep it here in a sense. It's cool that the American made equipment is so sought after that it is going everywhere in a sense. Like, that is cool. Like, the original stuff is getting shipped across seas because they want it over there. And there's a lot of really big brands popping up, like in the UK and stuff, that like have been around for a while now. They're getting more prominent because, again, lifting is kind of really picking up. So they do really have some cool brands there. But I really don't like if we wanted to get the top dollar amount for like one of our most rare machines, the odds are either you got to find a collector with a really awesome garage gym, basically, or you sell it to a guy who's going to ship it across seas and sell it for double because it's that hard to get it there. So, I mean, shit, if we were in the overseas market direct and we could ship it and send it to a port, and I mean, we'd be making $15,000 on a chest press that's worth $8 here, you know, or probably, I'm assuming it's got to be a good amount if they're going to send it to a port and ship it across the seas and still make money on it, right? So I can only imagine what it costs landed to that customer in the UK or in Germany or wherever they're buying. So yeah, interesting. I don't like the idea though of just like giving our made in USA equipment to I don't know.
No, it's just going to make it harder to get
Yeah.
when we want it again.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, and I'm not in that phase of my life yet where I'm traveling the world and I get to see all of our American equipment in different countries. So, but yeah, fair enough. Well, what else? So what is? I mean, this episode's primarily been equipment and priority fitness. So I guess we'll just kind of continue on that path. And what for the rest of the year for priority, what what's the outlook like? Or you don't have to look at the rest of the year. I guess just give us an update on what you think for priority fitness the next couple of weeks. I know you talked to Pat a little bit more. What is it going to pick up? Is it going to be a slow rest of the year? This is like, and the reason I'm saying this is because priority, I feel like we're in a abnormally like slow spot right now. Like we're usually not this slow, and we have to have a conversation off camera anyways and kind of figure out what our next move is and how we want to go about priority. But uh, we're just usually not this slow. Usually we've got some stuff going on. I know you said August was going to be a slow month. Ended up being like busy-ish. I don't know if there's any big jobs, but I guess what is your outlook for the next month, couple weeks, the rest of the year? Like, what do you know about priority? Like, do you think this is just a couple week thing and then it picks up, or is Pat saying it's going to be a slow end of the year?
yeah, I think this is kind of a foreshadowing of what the end of the year is going to look like, actually, which sucks. But I think we have a couple slower weeks here to kind of get ready, and then one of the last weeks of September is busy. We have like 3 or 4 installs in 1 week, and it seems like the last 3 months that's how it's all worked out, where it's everyone has this week that they want their gym equipment. This apartment complex wants it then. This school can only accept it this week, this or that, along with some commercial jobs. But yeah, the end of September we have a half of a circuit going into Holy Family up in Manitowoc. And then we got both Wausau YMCAs getting decent sized cardio orders the next day. And then day after that is an apartment complex that got postponed like 3 times already. They're finally ready for their stuff. So it's just stuff like that where it's supposed to happen 2 months ago, and now it's postponed twice until, of course, it needs to be that week that we already have 2 other big installs going on. But they have those, and then we only have like 3 or 4 bigger jobs for Pat for the rest of the year, which to me isn't a lot.
Yeah.
That's one a month. Like that's one each month. We have 1 in October, 1 in November, 1 December, if you look at it that way. So it's just, it's going to be not as, I think there will be toward the end of the year a bunch of YMCAs or a bunch of commercial places that, update a couple units here or there. We'll have a bunch of like little tiny small installs like we had at the beginning of the year kind of. So I think some of those will kind of filter in, but yeah, as far as that goes, we're gonna have to really push some used equipment or something.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big conversations we need to have. Which I think tomorrow you and Nolan and I sit down for an hour, 2 hours. Probably have a glass of bourbon, then probably make you really think, and we probably figure it out way faster. But I already committed to no alcohol this week, so sit down for a couple hours, figure out the direction for priority for the rest of the year. I definitely want to, if you guys are on board, I'll try to reach out to Matrix and see if we can get some more like planned installs. Even if we got to go to Minneapolis, or if we got to go down to, prefer not to go to Chicago, but wherever we got to go to get some installs going. I got to figure out the used equipment side of things, moving some product there. That's something else. So Kyle kind of mentioned we get these like smaller installs that are like one of the things that like a lot of these companies say is like take the good with the bad, right? Like if you guys want the good stuff, you got to do the bad stuff. And so like, and I'm saying this for the people listening who don't really think like as far as like business ownership or like how it works or like business operations, but we basically, not every job is necessarily in the green, and that's something we've been tracking a little bit more this year. I don't know how strict we've been as of recently on that. That's not something that I check on enough for, it's just one of those systems that we're kind of working on getting going. But this year we were trying to do our best on like install yesterday, what was our true cost on that install, and really track it on a spreadsheet and figure out the fuel cost, the man labor cost, the whatever all the costs are into this, the truck rental cost versus what we get paid. And so when they say take the good with the bad, we're getting a lot of installs that are like, it's like a hack squat. So it's already a big unit that you have to have a trailer for. it takes like 2.5 guys and like an hour to build, right? Or 45 minutes to an hour, hour 15, depending on who's building it. And a hack squat, when it's fully assembled, is usually too wide for obviously too wide for a single door, but you don't know if you're hitting an elevator or whatever, right? So like there's all these caveats. And so now this install pays like $300 or like 275 or something like that, something that's not very great. And then it's not like, we're in Watoma, Wisconsin, Red Granite, Wisconsin, right? So it's not like it's only going to be 20 minutes away. Like now we've got to drive at least an hour, if not an hour and a half or 2 hours to deliver this one hack squat. And now a hack squat's heavy. So even if you pre-build it and it's going double doors, you still got to send 2 guys, right? So like there's all these like moving parts. And so when they say take the good with the bad, we're doing these installs that like we're busy. Like we have to go do a install that takes 2 hours to drive one way, sends 2 guys, that's basically their whole day. And before you know it, we're negative on this job, right? So we got to kind of review I don't know. I don't disagree with what they're saying. Take the good with the bad. I just feel like we need some more good. Like we need some more.
Yeah, that's why I think we tracked it this year. Is like because that's their whenever we're like, oh, it's not this needs to pay more. This one needs to pay more. And they're like, well, you need to take all the this part of the deal. You take the good with the bad. But the last year and a half, we've kind of thought there's more bad than good there.
Yeah,
that's why we kind of tracked it to see like. Just so we can maybe have like some kind of evidence like, hey, we do take the good with the bad, but there's like, we need more good. Like, we need some more big stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause what happens is if we do like a $300 install like that, if we need, we can go back and say, hey, can we get approved for an extra $200, $150, whatever, just to like break even or like maybe make $50 and then the guys can, whatever. So it's definitely a good thing that we tracked it more this year. And I think we continue tracking it because I think, just being able to show them at the end of the year, like, hey, we did profit on these 4 or 5, 10, 20 jobs, whatever it is, but there's 32. Because like, if you think about it, even if you make good money on some of them, but then you've got like 3 weeks in a row of like losing money, like it just screws everything else up as far as like our books go and just like the way our business flows and having cash flow and stuff like that. So it's just, it's weird. And what I kept telling Nolan, something that we're going to talk about tomorrow is like the problem with priority is we don't necessarily generate our own revenue, right? Like we're a middleman. We're a third-party service provider, third-party installer. So we're not making the sale. We're not, generating our own leads. So then we're constantly in this, well, one, we're waiting for a phone call. Hey, what work we got? And that business model is tough to thrive unless it's just like, Matrix is kicking it. You know what I mean? Like if they were doing $10 million a year in Wisconsin, we'd be busy all the time and it wouldn't be a problem. But when they kind of go like up like this and down like this, and they've got a hot month and a slow month, it directly reflects on us or directly screws us up. So not that all of you guys need to know that, but we're just kind of talking out loud. I think it's important for the listeners to understand like what goes into a business and how it works. And it's definitely not a brick and mortar store. We're not waiting for people to show up, but yeah. And I don't know, like, how do we generate our own business and Priority Fitness? You know what I mean? Sales, used equipment sales, new sales.
Yeah.
Service, if we want to do, more Google ads or something like treadmill near me. But again, do we like service? Do we want to do service? I don't know. It's just all stuff to talk about tomorrow, obviously. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know. A lot goes into it. A lot more than like from the people on the outside, I guess is where I'm getting like, people look at us like, oh, we're doing stuff. There's a lot more thoughts than just we're gym equipment movers, like, or whatever. So kind of rambling, but
yeah, they just look at us as a moving company.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Well, cool. I think that's, again, I think today was just kind of like pulling back the curtain. People could understand a little bit more about priority in the industry and the gym equipment industry. I know this episode wasn't really like, how can you guys go and be better? But I think a general business episode is always good every now and then to have a conversation. Kyle and I were going to talk a little bit about a supplement business venture that didn't really get off the ground. And I think it still could get off the ground, but we'll save that one for next time. We'll do another episode. We'll talk more about like the supplement industry. Maybe what we do is we'll come prepared and have some, not fun facts, but like some supplements that you and I know enough about where we can kind of like talk about that too. So then the listeners can get some value out of it there. And then we can also talk about like our, I don't want to call it a failed business venture, just like a business venture that like we
never really pursued.
Yeah. Like we kind of, and I say that shit too. Like, I feel like 5-6 years ago. Sorry, we're going to continue this on, but like 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, anytime we had an idea, we were like young and dumb in a sense where like anything is possible. And then you grow older, and not that we're old, not that we're not kids, because I still have the kid mentality, but you almost like think of things that like it's going to be a little bit harder, or I don't know how that would work. Like you find more reasons to say no than you do yes. But 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was like anything was possible, right? You know what I mean? Like that mind shift changes. And I think it's important to try to keep that, that day one mentality, I'll call it. That's kind of what Jeff Bezos says is every day is day one in Amazon. Every day is a new day. It's day one. And so having that beginner's mentality, I think is so important in life and in business because, you know, if we reopened the supplement idea, we should have an open mindset to it and not just look at the negatives and be like, well, it's going to be hard work. Like, yeah, it's going to be hard work, but like, how do we make it work? And I think it's still a great idea. So I forget what it's called. I think it's called like Shoshin mentality or something like that.
Yeah.
Ellie will probably listen to this and she'll probably know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw it in Nolan's notebook.
Yeah, it's like the first page.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it's like that day one mentality, but it's like, I think it's Shoshin, SHOSHIN.
EIN.
Yeah, and it's got like it's like Japanese. I think it's a Japanese
Yeah.
original saying, but just having that day one mentality in everything you do, fitness, life, your health, your business, your whatever it is. Like, don't be too naive to like understand and learn and look at different angles and understanding other people's beliefs. Right? We don't need to go down that. Well, we could spoo off on that too, but anyway, so keep that mentality. Kyle and I will do another episode. We'll probably have time this week, so maybe this week we'll record something and then release it next week. So we'll talk more about that. And yeah, anything that you want to tell them your OnlyFans so everybody can follow you.
Yeah. New business venture.
So appreciate you coming on. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one.